If you're grieving someone, have you noticed that since you lost your person, you see people that look like them everywhere? I know that's happened so much for me with the people that I loved. Why does this happen? Why do our brains do this to us? Why does it feel like after we lose someone we love, a million people that look like our person pop up out of the woodwork? That's what we're going to talk about today. Stay tuned. I have experienced this so much with the loss of my 10-year-old daughter, Libby. It seems like everywhere I look now, I see some sort of little girl around her age that has long blonde hair and is laughing and having fun and doing these things that I wish that she could do. And it got me wondering, like, why does this seem to happen? A lot of people liken it to buying a car, where you decide on a new car, you buy it, you haven't really noticed it before, but then all of a sudden you start to see your car everywhere on the roads and you never noticed it before. And you're like, oh my God, everyone has this freaking car. Why did I never even notice?
No, they're everywhere.
It's a similar kind of thing. So it's all about our brains trying to make those connections. So why does this happen? Let's talk about it. First off, our brains are just incredible things. So for example, when we lose someone as precious as, say, a family member, their image and their essence are deeply ingrained in our minds. We've spent so much time with them and shared so many experiences and loved them so deeply that their presence is part of our daily existence. And when we lose them, that heightens even more because we're thinking about them constantly. So when we see another person that resembles our lost loved one, it really honestly doesn't even have to be that close. Our brains just immediately make that connection to the person that we've lost. It's almost like a reflex in our brain where our mind is trying to bring back the person that we lost by finding similarities in the world around us. Our brains are constantly scanning our surroundings, searching for familiar faces and looking for patterns. And this dates back to our earliest ancestors who used it as a survival mechanism to recognize friend versus foe.
The friend or foe.
In the context of grief, this mechanism kicks into hyperdrive. So every time we see someone with a familiar hairstyle, familiar clothing or body type, or even a familiar way of moving, our memory lights up like a light bulb, bringing back that connection with our loved one. It's actually our brain's way of keeping that person alive in our mind, ensuring that we don't forget those precious little details that made that person unique. The other reason this happens is more of a heart thing than a brain thing. Losing someone so close to us shakes the very foundation of our world. We're left questioning everything, searching for meaning amidst the chaos. As painful as it can be, seeing someone that resembles our lost loved one reminds us that they are still with us in some way. It's a way of making sense of the senseless and finding a little bit of continuity in the craziness that we're experiencing. And the other kind of heart-centered reason that this happens is because we are seeking a little bit of comfort, even though seeing someone that looks like our loved one almost does the exact opposite, but our mind and our heart don't know that. They kind of operate on their own agenda, as we know if we're grieving. Grief can be incredibly isolating, so seeing someone that looks like the person that we lost or reminds us of them can feel like a kind of momentary comfort. At least that's what our brain and our hearts think that they're doing for us, even though for a lot of us, it feels like kind of a bittersweet echo of what we've lost. Obviously, though, as most of us know, this happening so often just contributes to that total roller coaster of grief. I know for me personally, when this happens, I feel things like sadness and longing. For me, it's a reminder of what I've lost and the life that my daughter didn't get to live. And this can be especially poignant during the big days like holidays and birthdays and grief anniversaries. And like I just talked about in my last video, it's what makes vacations so hard when you're grieving. Seeing someone that reminds us of our person can also lead to jealousy and anger. We might think, like, why does this person get to be here and my person doesn't? Why does that family get to have all of their children and I don't have mine? Why does that person have their spouse and my spouse isn't here? The jealousy and anger kind of combine in that sense where you wish you had what you see in that other person. These feelings can a lot of times be really overwhelming and can even lead to guilt that we're feeling this way and, feeling jealous that another family has what you don't.
I'm so jealous.
So how do we cope with it when this happens? And it happens a lot, doesn't it? Well, there's no magic bullet, and it's the same things that I say in a lot of my videos, kind of getting back to basics. And the first thing you can do is acknowledge those feelings. Don't ignore them. Voice them to someone else if you can. Get them off of your chest. It's okay to feel sad or angry or jealous or guilty when you see someone that reminds you of your lost loved one. It's all normal. There is never a need to pretend like you are okay when you're not. We keep it real here, as you know. So when this happens to you, acknowledge those feelings. Try to find a healthy outlet. So like I said, you could talk to someone about it. If you have a friend that's with you or a family member, I did this when I was on vacation with my son. I just told my son how I was feeling about seeing a group of little girls Libby's age playing on the beach. And he totally understood. If you don't have anyone to talk to, then you could write it down, or hell, even like scream into your pillow if you have to. Just anything to kind of vent those frustrations. It's much better than like taking it out on your barista for getting your coffee order wrong because you're ticked off that it happened. Something else that you could try doing, and I don't do this all the time, but I do it sometimes, is create some sort of quick little ritual to try when this happens to you. So this would just be something like doing something very small in their memory. So, some people might want to say a quick prayer, or for me, sometimes I'm just like, oh, hi, Libs. Like I just sort of say hi to her, or, some sort of hand gesture you could come up with, or maybe do some sort of good deed for someone else when you see someone that reminds you of the person that you loved. Think of it like it's like a secret handshake that you can do with the person that you lost. And as I tell you with everything, just find what works for you and give yourself grace. Sometimes when this happens, it will barely affect you. And other times it will make you really, really sad or give you all the feels. I mean, we all know that this is a journey with huge ups and downs. It's not a fixed destination that we're trying to get through. So what do you do when this happens to you? I would love it if you could leave a comment and maybe give us a suggestion how you react, how you'd like to react. Have you noticed yourself that you see your person or people that remind you of your person everywhere since you lost them? It can't just be me. I always read all of your comments and I appreciate them so much. If anything, even if seeing our loved ones everywhere is this really poignant reminder of what we lost, as with grief, it's a testament to how much we freaking loved them and that their memory is living on, in this case, probably involuntarily, in our hearts and in our minds. So know that you're not alone. We are always in this together, and take care. As always, sending love and hugs. I will see you guys next week.